to the pre-conference workshop. We are starting right away. Now, we are going straight to the program. Remember that the theme for this year's conference is psychology, attitude change, and national development. We gathered this morning in this hall to do a pre-congress workshop. At this moment, we shall take 3 workshops, remember. One is on traffic behavior, the other one is on media engagement, and then the third one is on research and publications. Ladies and gentlemen, we have distinguished experts in these fields that will handle these activities. The need for these have really increased, and the sooner we rise to meet the challenge as a discipline, the better for us. But just before we get to the point of workshop, it is expedient that the president of this association should address us.
Let's give him a big clap. The president-elect, members of the National Executive Council of the Nigerian Psychological Association, Professor Akin Odebumi is a founding father of the NPA. Professor Akin Shola Olowu, founding father of the NPA. Professor Dr. Esther Akinshola, but she wouldn't want me to call her Prof. Founding mother of the NPA. Would you rise for recognition, please? Fellow of the Nigerian Psychological Association and head of the Developmental Psychology Division. Professor Benjamin Ehige, fellow Nigerian Psychological Association and head Division of Industrial Organizational Psychology. Professor Chinya Ojiji, fellow Nigerian Psychological Association and a highly valuable member of the Nigerian Psychological Association. Our own Professor Erabo Idemudia, all the way from South Africa, research psychologist and keynote speaker for this conference. Professor Idemudia, Professor Ehige, Professor Ojiji, Professor Mike Ezenwa, and Professor Shinowo will be our most valued resource persons for the 3 workshops that are going to hold today. My dear colleagues, it takes sacrifice to nurture a profession. The founding fathers have handed us the discipline of psychology. And it is up to us to make it what we want it to be. But if I heard you right many years ago, the choice was to upgrade it from a discipline into a profession. Today, we are all gathered here to fight the cause of the profession of psychology. Not by insulting people, not by complaining, but by upgrading ourselves, by developing ourselves. The challenges are right before us. And unless we update ourselves, unless we build capacity, unless we enhance capacity, we will fail in meeting the needs of national development. Not too long ago, the Federal Road Safety Commission decided that as a matter of policy, habitual traffic offenders will have to be examined by psychologists. Our colleagues on the other side of the mental health profession kicked against it, and they were really very serious. Now, unknown to many of you, they had anticipated it about 5 years ago and started lobbying for what did not exist, against what did not exist, if you get my point. They did not want this policy to come to fruition because it will not be in their purview to handle. We watched them with very keen interest until the pronouncement was made, and then they came out in their true colors. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know that right now the voice of reason has prevailed. Psychologists will continue to partner with the Federal Road Safety Corps, will continue to advise the Federal Road Safety Corps on issues that relate to traffic behavior management. But we can't do that unless we get our acts together. It is the reason why we decided almost at the last minute to say, hey, we need to use the opportunity that the Congress offers us to build capacity. And thank God for foresightedness. For those of you who were at the NPA Conference, we approved for a directorate of psychological assessment and testing to be established. And none other but the erudite Professor Benjamin Ehige was appointed as the director. And so, when this challenge came up, we did not hesitate to place the problem before him. And he and other fellows mobilized to give us suggestions on the way forward. As we contemplate that, we believe that every training that psychologists receive henceforth should be accounted for by credit points or credit hours. And so at the NPA Conference, we also approved for the Directorate of Continuing Professional Development Directorate. And that directorate is headed by none other person than Mama, Professor Helen Oshinowo. She just entered. For those of you who are too young to know her. And so every activity that is done, including the plenary sessions that you attend from this conference, will be accounted for by credit points. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one of the problems that psychology has had in Nigeria is that of marginalization and alienation in both the private and the public sector. While it is very easy for us to blame people for not carrying us along on developmental issues, we have a portion of responsibility in what has happened to us over the years. And so during the last leadership summit, we examined every issue that pertains to the image of psychology in Nigeria. And we agreed that we need to be more proactive. We need to be more engaging with the public in order for our products to be known as well as patronized. And the champion of this idea is none other person than Professor Michael Ezenwa, the president-elect. And he will convince us that a special workshop is required to enable us learn the art of media engagement. And so one of the workshops that will be offered today will be a workshop on media engagement. You and I know that there is very low capacity for research in Nigeria. Now, when I say there is low capacity for research, I'm not actually indicting us. I am not belittling what the training institutions are doing. I'm not undermining the image of our professors in our respective universities. I am saying this so that I will prick your conscience. I'm saying this so as to motivate you towards research. Because after all, we are comparing ourselves by ourselves. And so if we make ourselves the reference point and we say we are not what we think we ought to be, I don't think it is wrong. We want to bequeath a psychology to the younger generation that is both scientific and professional. And so, from now henceforth, we will put research and publication on the front burner. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have another erudite scholar to anchor this segment of the workshop in none other person. And I think he was editor-in-chief for 8 years of the Nigerian Psychological Association, Professor Ochinya Ojiji. He is being joined by our indefatigable editor-in-chief, Professor Olukayode Afolabi, I want him to come to the high table. Professor Olukayode Afolabi, it is that has given us a second version of a journal publication called the Nigerian Psychological Research. I'm not trusting my memory, but I think he has given us more than 3 volumes. Please give him a big clap. Professor Ochinye Ojiji, Professor Olukayode Afolabi will be ably supported by the man who knows no other psychology but research psychology. We are really highly gifted. We are really blessed, to have an international scholar in the person of Professor Rabo Idemudia. Right? But I think we prefer Rabo now. You know that? Yeah. Okay, Professor Sunday Irabo. No, don't act. Idemudia. He is a clinical psychologist, but specializes in scientific inquiry. So we are going to have a very rich day today. Now, before I throw this occasion open, permit me to invite Professor Helen Oshino to the high table, and also make provision for Dr. Esther Akinshola to join us on the high table. Now, the initial plan was for people to select the workshops they would attend, because the workshops are supposed to run from 10 to at least 3 p.m. I understand from the registration desk that over 80% of participants are interested in the 3 workshops. Is that true? Yes, sir. The concession we are going to make is for you to pay 10,000 naira for the 3 workshops. Instead of 10,000 for 1 workshop, you're going to pay for the 3 workshops. I do not know whether it is possible for us to hold the 3 workshops together. And so I would crave the indulgence of the high table for the first workshop on media engagement, because I don't think it is a long one, to be taken by all. Thereafter, those who are more interested in the workshop on research methodology would remain in this hall to take their lectures, while those who are going to take a workshop on road traffic behavior management will go to the second hall to take their workshops. I welcome you all, and God bless. I now have the pleasure to formally declare the pre-Congress workshop of the NPA for the year 2017 open. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, which branch of psychology is that one? Psychology of Papa. Thank you very much, great people. Distinguished members at the top table, fellow students of psychology, ladies and gentlemen, that was the opening remarks by the president of NPA to open this workshop. And if you had followed through, you would have seen excellence, you would have seen knowledge, you would have seen good performance. If your hands are not too busy, may you please now beautifully put it together for the president for a speech well made. Thank you very much, our president, Professor Andrew Zamani. Ladies and gentlemen, with the words of the president, we go straight to the first session, which is going to be on media engagement.